I always thought clarity arrived gently, maybe like dawn, soft, golden, forgiving. But no. My clarity showed up slurring its speech, stinking of whiskey, laughing so loudly the music paused for a second. We were at the annual company retreat. Not mine, hers. My wife, Madison, had invited me. Said it would be nice to see everyone outside the office. I agreed, mostly because I missed her. Lately, she'd been coming home late. Tired. Smelling different. Her kisses were routine. Her eyes, tired maybe? No, evasive. Anyway, the lodge was remote. Snow-covered pine branches like powdered sugar. Fireplaces crackled in every corner. The kind of place romance novels describe. It should have been perfect. Should have. I was standing near the back bar, pretending to enjoy scotch, when a guy, mid-30s, flushed cheeks, loosened tie, staggered up beside me. He worked in Madison's department. I'd seen him earlier during charades, yelling nonsense and tripping over his own feet. He ordered something blue and stupid. Turned to me, squinted like I was a math problem. You're Maddie's husband, right? He asked, swaying. I nodded, smiling thinly. Yeah. I'm Ethan. His eyebrows danced. Ethan. Man, wow. Dude. You are brave. Brave as hell. That caught me off guard. Brave. Yeah, he said, chuckling darkly. I mean, she's like with Damien all the time. I mean all the time. And you're cool with that? That's just, phew. He laughed again, a high, unfiltered wheeze that echoed against wooden rafters. My glass stopped halfway to my lips. With Damien? He blinked. Her boss. Our regional director. Big guy. Kinda looks like he models for those weird cologne ads. Always touching her arm. Always whispering stuff. The guy raised his brows. Wait, you didn't know? Another laugh. Oh, sh. Excuse me, I muttered, walking away before I did something stupid. I found the balcony. Cold wind slapped me, but it felt better than the fire inside. My brain played the conversation on loop. Suddenly, I remembered the lipstick stain on Madison's coffee mug last week, smudged like it had kissed more than ceramic. I remembered how she called me sweetheart like she'd forgotten my actual name. How she guarded her phone. How she deleted messages instead of archiving. The door creaked behind me. You okay? It was her. Madison. Sweater clinging to her in a way that once made my heart pound. Tonight, it just tightened my chest. I turned. Yeah. Just getting some air. She stepped beside me, arms crossed. This place is beautiful. Is Damien here? I asked casually. Too casually. Her lips parted. Eyes darted once. He had to step out. Why? That hesitation. Small, but I'd seen her lie before, once in college, about failing a class. She always paused like that. I never forgot. No reason. I smiled. Bitter. Silence settled. Not comfortable, not companionable. Just heavy. That night I didn't sleep. I lay in the guest suite bed beside her, listening to her soft breaths. Her body curled away from mine. I stared at the ceiling, counting every faint creak in the walls, like they were whispering secrets I wasn't supposed to hear. Monday we returned home. Life tried to slip back into routine. Mornings began with toast, silence, and rushed mascara. Evenings ended with empty dinner plates and more silence. I watched her closely now. Every text that made her lips curl. Every meeting that ran late. Every blouse she wore that wasn't for me. I wanted to ask. God, I wanted to scream. But something held me back. Pride? Cowardice? Hope? Maybe all three, tangled like bad wiring behind my ribs. Then came Friday. I left work early. Not to surprise her. Not really. I just couldn't focus. My mind had become a crime scene. And like any good detective, I returned to the scene. Home. The living room smelled like vanilla and jasmine, her new diffuser. The one Damien supposedly gave the whole team for Christmas. I noticed a wineglass, only one. Still red-stained. Her coat hung crookedly, like it had been tossed, not placed. I heard her before I saw her. Low laughter. Her voice, soft, playful, coming from the kitchen. But when I stepped in, she was alone, talking on speakerphone. He almost caught on Friday. I had to tell Damien to hide in the bathroom. It was so close. Then laughter. The same laughter I once thought was beautiful. I backed away, footsteps ghostly. I couldn't breathe. That night, I didn't confront her. I went to a hotel. The same one where she and I had our honeymoon night. The irony made me sick. I stared at the ceiling again. But this time, I wasn't counting creek. I was counting lies. 1. We're just friends. 2. I've been swamped with projects. 3. You're the only man I'll ever love. 2 weeks passed. I pretended everything was fine. Played dumb. I needed proof. Not for revenge, no, not yet. For closure. Because if I was going to walk away from a decade of memories, I needed truth in my pocket. So I followed her. She left work Wednesday, said she was going to meet Claire, her best friend. But Claire was at yoga. I checked her Instagram. Madison drove to a quiet bistro across town. I parked a block away, wearing a baseball cap like some cheap spy. She entered. 5 minutes later, Damien did. They didn't sit across from each other. They sat beside. I watched her hand slide over his thigh under the tablecloth. Watched her lean in, whisper, kiss the edge of his ear. I took a photo. No flash. No mercy. I returned home and printed the photo. Slid it into a plain envelope. Wrote nothing on it. Left it on her pillow. Then I left again. The next day, she didn't call. She didn't cry. She didn't run after me like they do in the movies. She just texted. Ethan. We need to talk. No apology. No denial. No heartbreak. That's when I realized something broke in me. Not anger. Not even sadness. Just emptiness. Like I'd become a room after a fire. Still standing. But nothing inside recognizable. The story doesn't end there. Because emptiness? It's just a prelude. What came next burned hotter than betrayal, lust, revenge, and someone I never expected. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about the night I met Lila. Heartbreak is a funny thing. Everyone thinks it rots you with sadness, that it's all sobbing in dark rooms and eating takeout out of styrofoam boxes. But that wasn't my version. No, my version burned. It clawed at the inside of my chest, hot, relentless, wordless. I didn't cry. I didn't eat. I didn't scream. I just wanted something. Something to feel. Something to distract me from the hole where my marriage used to be. I found that something. Or maybe she found me, on a Thursday night, 5 days after the photo on the pillow. Her name was Lila. I remember it perfectly. I was at a rooftop bar downtown, sipping a bourbon I didn't like, scanning the skyline like it held answers. That's when she walked in. She wore a red dress. Not bright red. Not fire engine red. Deeper. Like sin. Like velvet in candlelight. Hair the color of midnight rain. Eyes that didn't flinch when they met mine. She walked straight to the bar, ordered something in a smoky voice, then turned toward the city. And then, without any reason, without hesitation, she said to me, "You look like someone who's about to do something reckless." I blinked. Maybe I am. She tilted her head. Good. Reckless is underrated. I laughed, first time in weeks. A dry, real one. We talked. About nothing. About everything. She didn't ask questions like other people. Not the nosy kind. She just listened, leaned in, smiled like she knew things most people never would. And when she touched my hand, just briefly, it was like static leapt from her skin into mine. "What's your name?" I asked finally. "Lila," she said. "What about you?" I hesitated. "Ethan." Her smile curled. "You don't have to lie to me." "I'm not." "No, I mean, you don't have to pretend. I can tell. You're in pain." I looked away. She didn't. Her voice dropped. "Let me help. It's strange how quickly we become different people. 1 week ago, I was a man holding my wife's hair while she puked from a stomach bug. I was kissing her forehead after she paid the electricity bill late. I was carrying groceries and pretending not to notice that she didn't wear her ring anymore. Now I was in the back of Lila's Uber, her thigh brushing mine, her perfume hijacking my senses. She lived in an apartment on the edge of downtown. No roommates, no hesitation. She opened the door, tossed her heels aside, poured wine like we'd done it 1,000 times before. "Tell me what she did," Lila said, lounging barefoot on her couch, legs curled beneath her. I paused. "She lied. Everyone lies." "She lied with her whole body." Lila didn't flinch, just took a sip of wine. "And now?" "I don't know," I admitted. "I don't think I feel anything." She studied me for a long moment. "That's not true." "What is true?" Her voice dropped again. "That you came home looking for something. And maybe you found it." Silence stretched between us. Then she leaned in. No words. Her lips brushed mine, not soft, not hesitant. It was hungry, bold. I didn't stop her. Not because I wanted revenge. Not because I wanted to forget. But because for the first time in months I felt wanted. I didn't sleep that night. Not because of guilt. Because of how alive I suddenly felt. Like someone had shocked my heart back to life. Her touch was lightning. Her words were fire. And when she fell asleep against my chest, breathing slowly, I realized I wasn't mourning anymore. I was transforming. Over the next few weeks, I lived in two worlds. In one, I was still Madison's husband. We hadn't said the word divorce yet. She walked through our home like it was a museum of old memories. Polite, distant, cold. She never mentioned the photo. Never admitted anything. She just faded. In the other world, there was Lila. And Lila made me feel dangerous. She never asked for promises. Never brought up love. But she looked at me like I was a storm she wanted to chase. And when we were together, there was no past. Only now. Only need. One night I asked her, "Why me?" She kissed my jaw, whispered, "Because broken men are the most honest." I didn't understand that then. I would, eventually. Then came the office gala. I didn't want to go. Madison insisted. "It's just one night," she said. "We don't have to pretend anything. But people will ask if you're not there." I agreed. Not to save face. To watch her lie in public. To see how deep her betrayal went. I wore a navy suit. No tie. Just enough cologne to make her raise an eyebrow. She wore silver. It clung to her in all the ways it used to cling for me. When she looped her arm through mine, I let her. Inside, Damien was already there. Laughing with 2 interns. Holding court. The king of clean suits and dirty secret. He looked at Madison like he'd already unwrapped her. I saw red. But I smiled. Because Lila taught me how. An hour in, while Madison mingled and Damien flirted shamelessly, I stepped outside to breathe. That's when I saw her. Lila. In a backless black dress. Hair up. Eyes sharp. I froze. "What? How?" She smiled. "Told you I liked doing reckless things." I walked toward her, adrenaline flooding me. "You followed me?" "No," she said. I crashed. "Crashing's more fun." "You can't be here." "Why not?" she said, stepping closer. "Afraid your wife might see what you've become?" "I'm not." "A man who stopped being a doormat?" Her hand touched my chest. "A man who finally realized he deserves more?" I looked at her. Really looked. She wasn't like Madison. She wasn't trying to mold me. She just wanted to unleash me. That night blurred. Music. Wine. Lies laced in every corner. Madison cornered me near the bar. "Why are you acting so strange lately?" she asked. I laughed. She blinked. "This isn't funny, Ethan." "No," I said, sipping champagne. "It's not." "Is this about the photo?" she whispered. "Are you trying to punish me?" I turned toward her. "Why?" Feeling guilty. Her eyes narrowed. "Don't twist this." "I'm not twisting anything. I'm just done pretending." Then I walked away. And into Lila's arms. We kissed in the shadows of the ballroom. We didn't hide. Not for spite. For clarity. Because that night, everything finally made sense. Madison didn't break me. She freed me. Later, in Lila's apartment, I lay beside her. Sheets tangled. Moonlight brushing her skin like poetry. She traced circles on my chest. What now? I didn't know. I only knew one thing. I was done being the victim. Next came the war. And Madison had no idea what was coming. They say revenge is best served cold. I disagree. Revenge should be hot, scorching, relentless, slow. Like lava crawling down the side of a mountain, promising destruction but making you watch every inch of its journey. I didn't plan revenge. Not at first. I just wanted truth. But truth, once exposed, demands action. The day after the gala, Madison made breakfast. Toast. Coffee just the way I used to like it, black, bitter, burned. She sat across from me in silence, flipping through a magazine like everything was fine. Like she hadn't fed herself to another man in hotel rooms while I fixed the dishwasher, cleaned gutters, folded her laundry. "Did you have fun last night?" she asked without looking up. I studied her face. Flawless. Unbothered. Trained. "I did," I said. "Did you?" She blinked, just for a second. "It was nice seeing everyone." "Even Damien?" Her smile faltered. "We're adults, Ethan." "No," I said. "You're a liar, Madison." Silence hit the room like a grenade. She lowered the magazine. "Excuse me." I stood. Walked to the drawer beside the fridge. Pulled out the envelope she had never acknowledged. Placed it gently between us. "You're not going to gaslight me anymore." She didn't touch the envelope. "I told you, nothing happened." I laughed. Cold. Loud. Foreign to even my own ears. "I followed you. Watched you kiss him. Watched your hand crawl across a table like a snake." "I know, Madison." Her face twisted. For the first time in months, I saw it, real emotion. "You followed me?" she hissed. "I watched my wife cheat on me and lie about it for months. And you're worried about being followed?" She stood. "I made a mistake." "No," I said. "You made a series of choices." Her eyes welled. "You don't understand. I felt invisible. I felt like I didn't matter." I stepped closer. "So instead of talking to me, you slept with your boss? Instead of trying, you betrayed?" Her voice cracked. "He made me feel alive." I laughed again, but it felt hollow. "Then go. Be alive with him. Just don't look for me in your rearview mirror." She didn't leave. Not that day. Instead, she retreated to the bedroom. Closed the door. For 3 days, we coexisted like ghosts haunting different corners of the same grave. But I wasn't mourning anymore. I was rebuilding. With Lila. I saw her that night. She met me in the corner booth of a jazz bar. Dim lighting, sultry saxophone, a whisper of smoke hanging in the air. She smiled when she saw me. "You did it." I nodded. Started to. Her hand reached across the table, fingers lacing through mine. How did it feel? Like I finally exhaled. She sipped her drink. "Good. You're ready now." "Ready for what?" Her eyes danced. "The next phase." I tilted my head. "What do you mean?" She leaned in. "You know how I said broken men are honest?" "Yeah." She hesitated, then whispered something I never expected. "I was married to. Once." My breath caught. "What happened?" "He cheated. With my sister." The air thickened. "I thought I was crazy," she continued. Started questioning my own worth. My sanity. Until I realized. It wasn't about me. It was about him. His weakness. His selfishness. "And what did you do?" She smiled. "I disappeared. You left. I erased him. From my life. From my mind. And then. I built something better." I looked at her. This woman who walked like she owned her pain, wore it like armor, turned it into power. "And now," she said, "I find people like you. People standing in the fire. and I walked through it with them. We left the bar, walked through a misty street, hands entwined, every step lighter, until her phone rang. She froze, glanced at the screen. "Unknown number," she muttered. "Want to answer?" She hesitated, then declined the call. But her expression changed. Just slightly. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. "Just someone I used to know." She didn't elaborate. I didn't push. But something shifted in her. Brief. Subtle. Like wind brushing curtains. Days passed. Madison finally moved out. She left a note on the fridge. "I'll always love the version of us that was real." I didn't respond. I just watched her car disappear down the street. And I didn't feel empty this time. I felt free. Lila and I grew close. Fast. Too fast, maybe. But I didn't care. We spent nights wrapped in laughter, mornings tangled in bedsheet. She taught me how to let go, how to breathe again. But then, the calls started. Blocked numbers. Late nights. Hang-ups. She brushed them off. Probably spam. But her eyes? Her eyes said different. One night, I woke up to find her standing by the window, phone in hand, shaking. "Lila." She turned, startled. "Sorry. Didn't mean to wake you." "Who keeps calling?" "No one. Just ghosts." A week later, everything changed. We were supposed to meet at her place. I brought wine, flowers, that stupid jazz record she said reminded her of Paris. But the door was unlocked. Inside, everything looked wrong. Her purse on the floor. One wineglass shattered in the sink. And on the mirror, written in red lipstick, "You can't run from who you are." My blood went ice cold. I called her. No answer. I checked the parking lot. Her car gone. Then, finally, a text. "Ethan. I'm sorry. I need to disappear again. Don't look for me." He found me. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't blink. I stared at that message until the screen dimmed. Who was he? Why didn't she tell me? Why leave me in the dark? I thought I understood pain. But losing Lila like that reopened wounds I didn't know I had. And left one question on repeat in my head. Was she real? The next morning, I got a message. An address. No name. No explanation. Just 5 digits and a street name I didn't recognize. But I went. Because I had nothing left to lose. And when I arrived, what I found changed everything. The address led to a house. Not a motel. Not an apartment. A house, quiet, pristine, white shutters, trimmed hedges. The kind that screams normal with teeth clenched tight. Too perfect, too staged. Like a photograph glued over a secret. I sat in my car for 10 minutes before I got out. No movement behind the curtains. No sign of Lila. But the door was cracked open. Just like before. She was waiting for me. The house swallowed me whole. Every step inside felt like a trap waiting to close. The walls were covered in sepia-toned family portraits, none of which had Lila's face. A candle burned in the hallway. Something vanilla. Something wrong. Then I saw her, sitting on a velvet chair in a darkened living room. Legs crossed, eyes red but dry. She didn't speak right away. Neither did I. Finally I said, "Why here?" She looked at me for a long time. "Because it's where everything ended the first time." I sat across from her. "Tell me." She nodded, slowly. "I told you my husband cheated with my sister. That's true. But I didn't tell you who he was." A pause. A breath. "Damien." The room twisted. "Damien? My wife's boss." She looked down. "They weren't his first affair. They won't be his last. But I was the first wife." I stood. Staggered backward. "You were his wife? You knew all along?" "Yes." My voice cracked. "So what was I, Lila? Some kind of revenge puppet?" "No," her eyes flared. "You were more than that. At first, I just wanted to see him suffer. To see him lose. I wanted your story to be the nail in his coffin. But then, I met you. And it stopped being about him." I paced the room, pulse thudding in my ears. "You used me. I loved you. You lied to me. So did she. So did he. But I gave you truth, eventually. I gave you more than either of them ever did. I stopped. Looked at her. Really looked. And damn it, part of me still believed her. She stood and walked toward a drawer. Pulled out a folder. Thick stuff. Took me months, she said, to gather all this. Expense reports. Photos. Hotel bookings. Witness statements. Damien's entire affair playbook. She handed it to me. This is your smoking gun. Enough to end him. Publicly. Legally. I stared at it. She stepped closer. You can burn him to the ground, Ethan. We can. Together. I didn't speak. Because inside me, two voices screamed. One wanted blood. The other wanted peace. I left the house an hour later, folder under my arm, fire in my chest. Drove to Madison's new apartment. She opened the door in sweatpants. No makeup. No armor. What are you doing here? I held out the folder. She stared. What's this? Evidence. She took it, flipped through pages. Her face paled. This is real? Yes. She sank onto the couch. Silent. Hollow. I didn't know he was married. Didn't ask either. She nodded. Didn't argue. For the first time since the affair began, she looked human again. I was weak, she said. You were cruel. I thought I could control it. The thrill. The secrecy. But he made me feel seen in ways you stopped seeing me. That hurt. But she wasn't wrong. I gave you everything I had, I said. I know. And I destroyed it. We sat in silence. Finally, I said, I'm not here to punish you, Madison. I'm not even here to forgive you. She looked up. I'm here to say goodbye. Properly this time. And I walked away. 3 days later, Damien was fired. Lila sent the folder anonymously to the board. HR, media. Everything. He denied it at first. Then cracked. By week's end, his name was poison in corporate circles. His wife, his new one, filed for divorce. Interns leaked texts. His kingdom crumbled. I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt clean. Like I'd finally washed off years of lies. Lila didn't answer my texts for a while. I gave her space. When she finally called, it was raining. I'm leaving the city, she said. Where? Somewhere quiet. Somewhere I don't have to burn anything down to breathe. I was quiet. Then, was it real? She hesitated. Every second. Why not stay? Because I don't want us to become what they were. Damaged people pretending they're healed just because they found each other. I'm not pretending. I know. But you still have work to do. So do I. A pause. I love you, she said. But I need to learn how to love myself again. Without war. And then she was gone. Weeks passed. I started writing again. Picked up freelance work. Joined a boxing gym. Made peace with silence. I learned how to be alone without being lonely. One night, I found a note on my doorstep. No name. Just a card. Inside, a single sentence. When you're ready for something honest, you know where to find me. There was no address. Just a small red lipstick kiss on the corner. I smiled. For the first time in a long, long time. Epilogue. People ask if I miss Madison. Sometimes. People ask if I hate Damien. I don't. People ask if Lila was a mistake. She wasn't. She was the match. The flame. The clarity I didn't know I needed. They say betrayal breaks you. But sometimes it builds you. I lost a wife. I lost illusions. But I found truth. And in the end, that was the only thing that mattered.